The city of Buffalo is trying to make history with a first-of-its-kind lawsuit targeting companies that manufacture firearms. And look there at the long list of gun makers that are named as defendants, among them Remington, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Beretta. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, Police Commissioner Joe Gramaglia, and others announcing that lawsuit today. It also targets gun distributors and retailers. They say those businesses are, quote, fueling the gun violence crisis in the city of Buffalo, especially the May 14th racist massacre that claimed the lives of 10 innocent people, but also everyday shootings in the Queen City. The lawsuit seeks a long list of damages to, among other things, reimburse the city for resources used to deal with the gun violence crisis. Paul Cambria joins us now live. He's an attorney, constitutional expert, and Two on Your Side legal analyst. Paul, we always appreciate your time. I want to start here with your initial reaction to this lawsuit. It was almost 200 pages long, but I wonder what you think of it in the context of people who say, look, if someone is drunk driving, you're not going to go sue Chevrolet for that. So would that same rationale apply here? And on the flip side, you think about the Sandy Hook precedent, and they were able to sue the gun manufacturers because of their advertising tactics. Would we expect that to play into this at all?
Yeah, I think it does. Clearly, Sandy Hook, they settled for $73 million. I mean, it was a big deal. The biggest obstacle to suing the gun manufacturers and distributors is this so-called 2005 Congressional Act, which is Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act is what it's called. And it was signed by President Bush. And of course, a lot of people, including President Biden, have said, oh, well, that gives immunity for lawsuits. But it really doesn't. There are exceptions, and the exceptions are things that are listed in Buffalo's lawsuit, which are basically nuisance situations, the way they market, whether or not there's false advertising, whether they have knowledge of certain ghost guns, you know, these pieces that have no serial number and so on that you can buy and then assemble a gun. So the people here have done their homework. New York is one of 4 states which has recognized an exception to this federal law. And the way they've laid this statute, the way they've laid this lawsuit out, they are targeting all of the categories that New York State's appellate courts have recognized as an exception to this federal immunity.
Paul, our Claudine Ewing was at that press conference today when they announced all of this. We saw her report last half hour, but I want to follow up on one of the questions that she asked earlier today. And it basically dealt with, you know, we have gun violence, unfortunately, all the time here in Buffalo. This isn't new. So questioning the timing of filing this now, is that something that the defendants here would point out, you think?
Well, I think absolutely. I mean, you know, we've had a horrible tragedy here. And gun violence was involved in that. It was massive. This is the time to strike. This is the time when citizens are going to be thinking about it. This is the time when judges are going to pay a lot of attention to it and be careful about their decisions because it has such a great impact. So the timing's perfect.
Paul, before I run out of time, I want to ask you one final thing about, you know, most lawsuits, and you've educated me on this. They never make it to trial, right? You have negotiations going back and forth. Sometimes things get dismissed, but oftentimes there might be a settlement. I mean, if these gun manufacturers are looking at the potential for some type of big payout, would you think a settlement is in the realm of possibilities here?
Well, there's two issues there. One is they've already settled once, and if they settle again, now do other litigants, are they encouraged in filing lawsuits by saying, well, they got a settlement, so they'll probably settle with us, and that'll beget many more lawsuits. On the other hand, there's a lot of money here at stake for the gun manufacturers. They make a lot of money. This may just be the cost of doing business. They may be better off killing this off before it goes on, and it's a news story every day for, you know, 6 months. So it may be worth their while to pay. So it's a dicey proposition.
Something certainly worth following. Paul Cambria is a local attorney, constitutional expert, and Two on Your Side legal analyst. Thanks for helping us better understand this, Paul.
My pleasure.